Hey guys, how's it going? I'm just here to do a really quick video and just want to kind of share my experience at a Trump rally that I went to last night, the one in Columbia actually. I only live a few hours from there, and anytime you get the opportunity to see the President of the United States, Obama. I never got a chance to see Obama, but I did get a chance to see Bush. I had a chance to see Clinton. And so only being a couple hours away, I had a chance to see Trump last night, and I definitely wanted to kind of, take advantage of that. So just want to kind of share my experience at this particular rally in Columbia last night. First thing I want to say is one of the things that I've always really kind of believed with these, rallies, whether it's a Trump, Obama, Occupy Wall Street, Tea Party, whatever, I've always had this firm belief in that I want to go, and experience these as opposed to trying to take the media or someone's word for it. Because like with most things, a person's always going to try to tell you the things that makes their side look good, try to tell you the things that'll make the other side look bad, but don't really give you the whole truth. And I think both sides do that. So I've always kind of felt like, oh, this Occupy Wall Street thing is going on. I went to 4 different Occupy Wall Street rallies. This Black Lives Matter thing is going on. 3 different rallies there. Tea Party, 2 different rallies. And just kind of, kind of on and on. So this was my opportunity to, Trump rallies. Let's go and kind of check out and see what that's about. So just to give you an idea, I know one of the things that we always talk about is hearing this thing about, when they do the cameras and everything, they try to make Trump rallies look like there's nobody there because they may take a shot early, or like what they did with Hillary where they made it look like there was a lot of people there and there really wasn't. So that was one of my first curious things was, okay, well, let's just see how many people Trump can draw out. So that was my first piece of curiosity and kind of wanting to get there. Well, the gates opened at 3:30 and he was not talking until about 6:30. So I decided, well, let me kind of get there a little bit early just in case. So I tried to get there around 2 or 2:30. By 2 or 2:30, the cars are already backed up on the highway. There's this road that comes right off the main highway that goes about 2.5 miles from where it connects to the highway, 2.5 to 3 miles to the actual airport and the hangar where the. Now by 2:30, cars are all the way back on the highway, and you already have people parking along the highway and like literally walking through, because it's a little shortcut instead of making the L to get to the airport, kind of cutting across the field, walking through mud and just kind of, squishing stuff around. It's raining and drizzling. I mean, just like not the greatest conditions, and people were flooding there, and it was already getting packed by about 2 o'clock. So first thing I'm thinking is, okay, people are actually showing up to this thing. Now, I get in line to go in, and about halfway up, there were some shuttles that you can catch. So I caught a shuttle. So my first experience was sitting beside this lady, older lady that kind of sat down. She's in her 60s, I would say, and she just kind of started up a conversation. She's like, hey, how you doing? My name is so and so. I'm like, yeah, my name is blah, and we just kind of this and that. We're talking about her husband, and we kind of talk a little bit about the area that I was born in. She's talking about the area where she grew up in. It's not too far away actually from each other, and just kind of having a conversation. And she's telling me about her family. I tell a bit about my family, and I say, and we started getting off the bus. I was like, well, if I don't see you again, enjoy the rally, have a good time. She's like, you too. So we get off. So then we go to the check-in point. So now I'm, next to another group, if you will. And, I'm standing there with this guy who's probably like the, what I would label as what the East Coast or West Coast would kind of stereotype mid-Missouri people like, he's kind of a good old boy, and he has on his camouflage hat and his camouflage jacket and his, I don't know, wet boots, whatever he calls type of things. And, and he's there with his aunt who's kind of older or whatever, and he just turns to me. I didn't even interact with him, and he's just like, how you doing? My name is blah blah blah. I'm like, hey, how you doing? My name is blah blah blah, and we shake hands. He's like, and he's like, could have been better weather out here. They would have been nice, wouldn't it? Yes, it'd be cool. And then we start talking about, how the security works, and she starts telling me a bit about her family and about her husband, and the fact he couldn't be there because he had to work and all this type of stuff. And so she's cracking jokes about how jealous he's gonna be, and we just just kind of chat and mingled. So then we go into the security, and I bump into another guy. We're kind of just standing there because we start talking about how it's bottlenecking to try to get in, and they're only letting in a certain chunk at a time to fill in the main area. So we're kind of in the spillover area right now. And I get into a great conversation with this guy, and we just started kind of talking about, again, kind of where we're from, and what he does for a living, what I do for a living. We found out there was kind of some different art museum things that we had in commons. We started kind of sharing, have you ever been here? Or you have to go out and check this. This is absolutely great, and blah, blah, blah. And so, we have a great conversation, and he and I end up getting into the main part together, and we bump into some other people where we just kind of start having a conversation. So it's just like meeting people and having conversations, and it was just really good in that regard. Now, one of the most impactful ones that I thought was when I'm actually inside and out there on the platform. In fact, when you watch the video, any news clips of Trump at that speech, if the camera would have panned just a little bit to the right, you would have seen me kind of off behind Trump, standing on the ground to the right. So that's where we're kind of standing. And there was a guy that walks over, and he just kind of walks in the conversation, and again he just sticks his hand out, and he just says, I hope this doesn't sound like odd, but I really want to thank you for being here, is what he said. And I said, well, yeah, it's my pleasure. I wanted to be here. He said, it just really does my heart good, because I know that the only way that we're going to get this country on the right track is we have to start all seeing each other as Americans and stop using the race card with everything. And he made a comment to say something like, because once we all see each other as Americans, he's like, the way that we will thrive and the things that we will achieve will just be incredible. And so he's like, kind of an older guy, so it really just does my heart good, to have you here, and I really appreciate you being here. And I said, well, well, thanks. I said, yeah, and we kind of got in that conversation. I said, that's the key. We are all Americans, and for this country to succeed overall, we all need to be succeeding overall. We all have our part to play in that, and blah blah blah. So, but that was one that just really kind of hit me, because, again, these are the people that everyone keeps saying hate people like me, and they're all racist, and then they all, they want to, just all the stuff that you hear. But it's like, no, this was just the opposite. It was someone saying, and being in that situation, not only just all the other interactions, but just even this guy in particular, just saying, it makes me feel good that I'm happy that you are here. Not get out, we hate you. I'm happy that you are here, because we all need to come together to make this country work and thrive. So it makes me feel good to see you here and to have you here. And to me, that was just very, very impactful and powerful. And again, I'm thinking, and you have to kind of think about, I'm telling you this story in a matter of 8 minutes and 9 minutes so far, but this is over 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours of these conversations and just interacting with people. Never at any point in time did I get anything negative thrown at me whatsoever. I mean, one other moment that I thought was really nice was they were handing out, the cards that people hold up and everything. And since we were in Columbia, that's the home of the Missouri Tigers. So they had some cards that said, Tigers for Trump. And so a kid is handing them out, and everyone's kind of rushing, trying to get one. And as the kid's kind of walking, I see this lady trying to come from the back and trying to get her hand in to grab one. Guy, maybe she's in her late 40s, early 50s. And I hear her kind of saying, oh, please give me one, please give me one. When my daughter's going to MU next year, I would love for her to have one of those. And she didn't get to it before. But when he was walking by me, he handed me one. So as she started to walk away, I go up behind her and tap her on the shoulder. And I say, no, here, ma'am, you can have mine. And she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I was like, no, I don't go to Mizzou. I didn't go to Mizzou either. So I was like, it's no problem. I said, just give it to your daughter. And she's like, are you sure? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, no problem at all. So she goes, back up. She thanks me over and over and over, goes back to her family. And then she comes like running back a few minutes later. And she was just like, I just really feel like I had to give you something, because that was just so nice and this and that. And she kind of made just a really, really nice gesture. And I was like, no, it's my pleasure, no problem at all. And so, again, it was just with the 4 or 5 hours of, again, me being in the midst of, I don't know how many thousands of people were there, Trump supporters, there was never a single incident of anything negative that took place whatsoever. And it's so funny too, because when I told a friend of mine that I was going, the response was, you better be careful. Like that was the response. Like, I better be ready to whatever. And and again, it's like this, not a single incident of anything whatsoever. And and again, people can say what they want to say, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of negative comments and all that type of stuff. But in the 5 or 6 hours that I spent at this rally being surrounded by all Trump supporters, I have not felt as much acceptance and openness and interaction and really people getting to know me. I haven't felt it. I felt it more at this rally than I have felt at any other event that I have been to. Again, I'm talking about all the occupies. I'm talking about the tea parties. I'm talking about the statue stuff, all those type of things. This was the most. And now I won't repeat it, but I mean, it was just the most. There was just so much acceptance there, so much, we're all together in this. We're all Americans. That that whole nine, and and I don't know. It's so because it's one thing when the cameras are on, right? Like most people say, when you know you're being recorded, or if you know you're being videotaped or whatever, you tend to act. You kind of put on your best. But it's kind of what you do when the cameras are not on. What you say when the cameras are not around that really kind of tells the truth. And so again, it's one thing to see when Trump is on stage, you can say Obama or Hillary, anybody else for that matter, and they give out their talking points and everyone screams and God, and everyone seems like they're all, this. But what is it like when Trump's not there and that type of thing? Like, what are people doing when there are no cameras on? They aren't rallying around. Like, just who are these people? And I tell you right now, these were people that I, you know, these are the people that I want to be around. I mean, quite frankly, I mean, these were people that just believed in personal responsibility. These were people that love this country, people that want to see the country as a whole do better. Not just this part or just this part, but as a whole wanted to see the country do better. And these were people that were completely and totally accepting of me in every way, shape, or form. It's just the only negative thing that I heard about or experienced, whether it's from a look or what was said or anything else, the only negative thing that came is when I was leaving, it was the protesters that were outside. Because I was a black man at this rally, they had their opinions about it, you know? So, so anyway, I just wanted to kind of put that out there because, again, just with the way that Trump supporters have been stereotyped in the media as being just these Nazi hating blah blah blahs, and it's like, look, Central Missouri, okay, the place where all these people think is where all these deplorables, as they like to say, just racist hating people, was one of the most friendly environments I had been in I don't know how long, I mean, without question. So take that for what it's worth. You can thumbs down it, you can whatever else, but that was just my God to honest experience at a Trump rally, with all the deplorables. They were pretty damn good people, quite frankly, really good people. So again, take it for what it's worth. I just wanted to kind of put it out there. That's my experience, and there you go. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys.